Welcome to Chats Unmuted, real-time convos with our unfiltered takes on culture, current events, and all things relationships.
Hey y'all. And today we're going to continue the conversation with princess treatment and the role men play as providers. And got a special guest to give us a little bit of perspective. Yes. So if you're new here, welcome. And if you're a return to peak seeker, hey y'all. Let's jump right into it. I'm Dr. Lara, your favorite relational psychologist, lover of all things mental health, faith, anxiety, not anxiety, depression, all of the things. Don't want you to have it. Want to make sure that you're well. So yes.
And I'm Memi, your favorite relationship coach. Call me if you need help. If that relationship needs tuning, y'all know who to call.
That's right. So let's get into the temperature check, mems. On a scale of I need a nap to I'm on fire. How you feeling?
Let me think. I would say I am about. I can always use a nap. Always need a nap. But besides that, I'm good. I won't say I'm well rested. Today was really crazy, but I'm good. Glad to be here. Happy to be here.
Okay. All right.
How about you?
Like you said, a good nap never, you can always count me in for a good nap. So I will never not take a good nap. But I would say I'm kind of middle of the road. I would say middle of the road, not on fire, not super down in the dumps. I'm like right middle of the road.
Okay, good.
Feeling okay. Yeah. Okay, so what would you say is the highlight or the headline for the week?
So I would say the highlight is I think I cracked the code to productivity. I'm finding
Definitely been in your bag a little bit.
You feel me? Like I'm finding my time when I work best, when I have the best energy, when my brain is at its highest. And I'm doing all this without working out. So imagine when I start working out in the morning. Oh, it's about to be a wrap. Watch out, world.
What's gonna happen when you start working out? What's gonna happen?
I'm gonna look like a baddie. I'm gonna feel like a baddie. And I'm gonna be a baddie. I'm gonna have baddie checks.
Are you gonna be manifesting this, or
I want to be praying about this?
Good, please. Okay, all right. Just gotta always check in to make sure we're both alive.
We don't know her.
No, we don't know her. Never heard of her. Never heard of her before.
Okay. And I'm excited. Tomorrow I'm going to Napa. I'm going to Napa, Sonoma County for my friend's 40th birthday.
Wine country.
Wine country. I'm really excited about that. I'm not a wine girly, but I guess I'm going to become a wine girly.
Yeah, for the sake of this trip, that's gonna be a nice little break for you. I like that.
Yeah, all I know is that I can't be out there asking for Moscato, because apparently that's not what real wine drinkers drink.
Wine connoisseurs drink. Wow.
They don't mess with Moscato, so I'm gonna have to tuck in.
Because Moscato is considered what, a dessert wine or something like that.
Yeah, it's a dessert wine. So like the real bougie girls, they be like,
yeah,
who drinks Moscato? So I'm gonna have to pretend like I don't love Moscato for the next 4 days.
Come on, extend your palate.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Try anything.
I'm feeling it.
How about you? What's been the highlight or headline of your week?
Highlight headline of the week. Highlight. Oh, my baby girl started. You look like you had something to remind me.
No, I'm just saying, like, you got something. You got something big coming up. But
that I do, and I definitely wasn't about to say that. I was going to say my baby started gymnastics.
What a mom, girl. But that is cute.
Yes, though. You're right. I have Taraji. I have Taraji P. Henson's Can We Talk Summit. So
and what are you gonna be doing there?
I'm gonna be on the panel. So my panel is called God's Children Got Wings. And so that really is just a BIPOC panel surrounded around loss, grief, suicide in young adults and young individuals of color, and really having intimate, and they are calling them sacred conversations surrounding that. So actually very, very excited about that. You can still grab tickets. I think this episode will drop, and if you are so interested in getting a ticket, you can. You can go to the BL Henson Foundation website and grab a ticket and come and support. But and
we'll put the link in the description as well.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that'd be good. Thank you for that reminder because
I mean, because does it get more
I'm not
headlines?
really used to the real time thing, you know? This is different for
True.
me where
This
like
is
people are gonna get
definitely
what we're actually doing and
this
not get
is
it like a month
this
delayed. So
is this
a
is
little
what the
different.
this is what the big dogs do.
This is what
So
the
we
big
trying
dogs
to
do.
stomp with the big dogs. You
We
feel
not
me?
little dogs no more. We want big dogs, huh? Right, right, right.
You
All
know,
right.
this
And
is what
so,
therapist talk about.
what would you say is on the agenda, like just in general? So that's what I have coming up, and I guess it is a highlight for me as well. So
Yeah, that's definitely
what's
a
new?
highlight for me. Yeah, just that's really all I got going on. Travel this weekend. Then next week is going to be my my brother-in-law's play, Cycles. So if you guys love a good stage play, you love a good story, you love a good drama, please check in. We'll also put
Yeah.
the links for that. And I'm the wardrobe lead, which is
Hair
wow,
bag.
a
Yeah.
job,
You wanna
a job.
style, you wanna put the wardrobe together. That's this all you. All
That's a
things that
job,
you do.
though. It's a job. I mean, I'm blessed. I'm grateful to be walking in my gifts and my talents. So
Love it for you.
I'm happy about that.
I love it
And
for you.
so, what's on your agenda besides
Uh
gymnastics drop offs? Now,
Gym,
we added that to the
I'm a
list.
gymnastics girly, you know. Plus, weekend is actually kind of busy. Like, it's gonna be mental health for me the whole weekend. So I have
Oh,
Taraji's, and then I'm also doing Charlemagne's in New
oh
Jersey.
yeah, you
Yeah, so
did.
it's going to be a busy
Are
mental
you
health.
going by yourself?
I am. I am. I'm
Oh,
going to do it by
okay.
myself, but I'm going to meet my girlfriend up there from grad school.
Okay.
So
Okay.
she
That's
lives
nice.
up there, so I'll go and see her. So that'd be
Oh, that's
nice to
nice.
link up with her. So yeah, that's the plan. That's the agenda. So again, Mems, what these people talking about on the internet? What is our internet chokehold for this week
Oh, the internet choco for this week. If you guys are, this is your first time watching any of our shows, the internet chokehold is where we just kind of talk
or
about
listening? Let me
or
be
listening. Sorry, yeah, sorry to my listeners. I love y'all. But if this is your first time listening or watching, we normally do a segment where we talk about a current event. Most of the time, kind of has to do with like relationships or just being an adult in this crazy world. And so today, what we have is Ayesha Curry on Call Her Daddy. If you are unaware, she went on there, just did an interview with a young lady, and we are going to show you the clip right here. So
can't
let me
hear
make sure
it.
you can hear it. Yep, let me turn it on.
So I didn't want kids. I didn't want to get married. I thought I was going to be career girl and that's it. And I had my eyes set on my goals and I was never the little girl that like dreamt about the wedding dress and all of that. And then it happened so early in my life. So it's like it's one of those things like you don't know what you actually don't know what you want. I in the beginning hated it so much. I like did not sign up for that. I also always thought like I didn't know that he was going to end up playing basketball. He said he wanted to be a high school basketball coach. Like I thought I was going to be like the girl out there getting it. So I didn't know. And so it just like it was weird and sports fans are so different than like maybe entertainment world fans and oftentimes it's like very ruthless. And so I think I wasn't expecting that either. Like one time right after my first was born, she was whiny. So I was like, let me just nurse her in the back seat. And Stefan was putting a bike or something in the trunk. And this woman like opens the car door and she sticks her head in and she's like, I just wanted to see the baby. And I'm like, excuse me. And she looks me dead in my face and goes, oh, honey, you know what you signed up for. And then like
Girl,
shuts the door on me. And I was just crying because I was like postpartum. I was just bawling my eyes out. And I'm like, what?
that's
Four kids. Did you always knew you wanted?
Mm, man,
that's a lot,
that's a lot.
a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about today. So, from a lot of the discussion that I saw around it, with a lot of people calling her ungrateful, saying that if they were her, they would just be like, shut up, enjoy the lifestyle, enjoy the money, da 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 da. But I don't know. Like I kind of understood her. Someone who got married like pretty young. Laura, what do you think?
I mean, I don't personally. I'm also going to put this out there. I think that people just have a visceral reaction to Aisha Curry for some reason. I just, for the love of God, because I feel like Savannah could say the same thing and
And nobody was playing.
no one would
Savannah,
bat an eyelash. They'd be like, "Oh my gosh, Savannah, my Savannah, my Savannah."
our very was it our first episode or our second
Yes, we
episode
talked about the
was
same thing.
literally about
Our
Savannah
second episode,
wanting
yes, to now step into
make
her
something
own.
out of her life. Yeah,
Exactly, and I don't think
outside
there's
of being a
anything wrong
girl's
with
life.
that.
Yeah,
Right. I think that Aisha Curry, like, and I can relate in the regard of having aspirations and then thinking that, okay, I'm going to have kids, and then am I going to still be able to balance that? Am I still going to be able to do all the things that I set out to do?
yeah,
So I personally don't think there's anything wrong with that. And as we know, money does not buy happiness, right? Like, you can have all the money in the world and still be very unhappy. So for people to say, "Oh girl, shut up, just enjoy the money," I don't doubt she's not enjoying the money. I'm sure she's enjoying the money,
I
but
mean,
that doesn't
obviously enjoying.
but that doesn't mean she's completely content, right? Because at the
Right.
end of the day, I get that idea of like seeing the fruits of your labor, like you're
Yeah,
putting into something and then seeing the return on that.
yeah,
There's nothing like it, and I can understand some people who completely love the kept life, again, the princess treatment life, all of
mm-hmm.
that. I get it,
Yeah,
but that is not everybody, right?
yeah. For
And
some people, it's just not enough.
yeah, like, and even if she doesn't want to maybe do it all the time and maybe wants just a hobby or whatever the case may be, I get it. Like, you had in your mind a vision of how your life was going to be, even if it turned out better, still,
Mhm.
right? Like, I dreamt of being this person, and I can even take myself as an example. I knew I wanted to be like, I was like, I want to be a director, I want to run
Yeah.
things. I did that, and then I was like, okay, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Like that's
Been
what
there,
you
done
said.
that,
Right.
get me out of here now,
Yeah.
and let's move on to something else. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having different dreams based on where you are in life.
Yeah.
So to me, I think that I don't think it's fair how people come at her, because I heard she was getting dragged like real bad,
It was crazy. I
and
felt so sorry for her. I
I
mean,
just understand.
yeah. I barely feel sorry for people because, everybody's grown, everybody got things going on in their life. But for her, I like you said, I feel like there's a visceral reaction to her. And I kind of and she said stuff in the past where I'm just like, girl, like
Yeah,
I
pipe
don't know
down,
if
pipe
it's
down,
your
pipe down, pipe down.
yeah, I don't know if it's your delivery or just like the tone. I don't know what it is,
Yeah,
but there's something like she's not like Savannah is my kind of girl. I wouldn't say
mm,
Ayesha is my kind of girl,
yeah,
just for whatever reason. But this is the first time when she's actually said something. I'm just like I see her. Like I felt like I saw
yeah,
her. I got married young, and we've talked about it on the show before about having to discover who you are as a
mhm,
woman within a marriage.
yeah,
I feel like people that are not women who are not women that got married young and had to
yeah,
grow up within a marriage, I don't really think you can understand what she's saying.
yeah,
So it's like having to you're kind of intertwined with this person.
right,
And I feel like that even in my relationship, I feel like that in my relationship, I could not imagine if Dapo was like a mega super, superstar.
yeah,
You would feel even more kind of like intertwined and then sort of overshadowed,
right,
because
right,
because I feel like my likes become your likes because
yeah,
I've known you since you were 18,
mm-hmm,
so we like
yeah,
the same things. We watch the same stuff. We go to the same places. We have the same friends.
mm-hmm,
There's not a lot of like you have to be super intentional about building a sense of individuality
correct,
when you're growing up with someone in
yeah,
that sort of relationship. Then you
correct,
now add kids on top of it. It's like your identity just gets pressed down further and
and
further and
further,
further.
agreed,
And
agreed,
so I feel like that is what I was hearing when she was speaking, and I saw her because I can relate.
yeah,
I know what that feels like to have to find yourself while being a mother, while being a husband, while being a wife, and trying not to abandon those people, but still trying to make time for yourself, figure out what you
yeah,
like,
for
you
sure,
know. So and we've talked about like the journey of joy,
mm-hmm,
and I guess my question is for you, just like for us to talk about, are married women, are they allowed to have any sort of joy and identity outside of their husband and their children? Because I feel like for my mother, no, I do
Yeah,
not see that.
your end all be all joy is your
That's
wife doing your
it.
wifey duties and your kids,
Yeah,
and that is a no go for me.
that is scary.
No, absolutely not.
I feel
I
like our generation just don't play like that.
Yeah, what I will say, I don't, I the pendulum for me doesn't swing completely to the left versus
Mm,
like being on the like there is a balance where I do find joy in like my kids. Do you know what I mean? But my
yeah,
end all be all, it's just it was never that for me. Like
yeah.
I absolutely have to have something for myself. You know, I think
Mm,
I'm recalling the episode that we did with Dr. Shay and Dr. Tony, and Dr. Tony talked about like having, been in a relationship for 20 years, like most of his life with somebody, he had to have hobbies outside of his wife. And I think that's so true. It is healthy to
yeah.
have things that are solely for you. Like I love the fact that my husband is now cycling now. Like it just I'm like, praise the Lord. He has something that is for him that he enjoys. Like I'll hear him downstairs in the basement on a Peloton, or he'll like, okay, I got a
Yeah.
bike ride, and he's putting things on the calendar. And I'm like, well, look at you.
Oh, you were just talking about that too. I love that
Look
for
at my little
y'all.
hubby just finding little hobbies for himself. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Outside of the kids. And I think it's necessary. And as a mother, no one's ever going to guilt trip me.
Mm-mm.
You ain't about to guilt trip me for
You know they
liking
try.
something. You ain't gonna do it. And
You know
it's
these
not
African moms, they
oh,
try.
my mama tried. My mama has tried. Oh
Oh,
yeah.
my mother has
And I'm gonna look at
tried.
her like, Mama, no,
Yeah, like girl, I'm
no,
sorry, I can't relate.
can't relate. Can't
Can't
relate,
relate.
not doing it.
Like
I'm
I,
no,
I,
they're staying home, they're not coming, I'm going out, leave me alone.
we're doing our
You
thing.
know what I mean?
Mama gotta have a life too, baby. I'm
And
I'm
there's
all
nothing wrong
for
with that.
that. I'm
And
all
there's
for
nothing wrong with that. And I
that.
think that is how you stay sane,
That is
right?
insane.
Because think about it, like these people who invest, and I'm not saying this is, I don't want to overgeneralize, but like people who are completely and solely invested in their kids and their husbands, when the kids leave, not even when the kids leave, let's talk about when the kids leave. Let's talk about when they become adolescents and they don't want you in their business no more. Then what?
He's like, I'm going to all my friends. Bye.
Like literally, it is developmental. They
Yeah.
they leave the safety of their home unit and become and begin to find approval and validation from their friends.
Yeah.
So it no longer becomes about you anymore.
Yeah.
So they're not checking for you no more. So then what?
Then what do you do? Crash out?
Crash out.
Crash out? Mm-hmm.
Mom might be crashing out.
Been there. Yeah, I'm talking to you, girl.
Yeah. We
You,
talking to
we
you,
talking to y'all.
girl.
Cause we got stories for
Yes.
days.
Yeah. So for
Yeah.
me, I just don't think it's healthy. I don't approve.
Yeah.
I don't think that's wise. So
Yeah.
that's my opinion on it.
And I feel a huge part of marital contentment and being completely happy and joyous in your relationship is having a life outside of your partner. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
I believe
Absolutely.
that that is
No need to
something.
apologize.
Yeah, we will always recommend is that you need to have hobbies, joys, things that fulfill you outside of another human being. Sorry,
Period. Period.
just that on that.
Loves it.
So shout
Loves
out to
it.
Ayesha. Ayesha, girl, we love you.
We
We
love
see
you. We
you.
see you. You are
We
seen over
feel you.
here. We
Yes.
see you. So I
Our heart
mean,
goes out to you and all the other young wives. Like
yeah,
it is a club. All
it
of us
is.
that got married in the early mid 20s, it's not easy. And we've been in it for 10 plus years. If you know, you know. If you don't, keep it quiet. Period.
Because
Keep
there's
it
people
cute.
talking
Don't
that's
talk
not
to
even
us.
married, talking about
Don't
just
talk to
enjoy the
me.
money, just enjoy the money. Like if that
No,
was
don't speak on
the fix
it.
for everything, there would be a lot less people killing themselves that are rich and
That are
wealthy.
rich. Thank you. And if you read the Will Smith book, he reached the pinnacle of stardom, of fame, of money, of $100 million movies, multiple in a row. And he was like, "Wait, why am I still unhappy? Because it's not enough.
It's not
It's
enough.
not enough. It comes from inside."
Yeah.
Okay, but
Period. We're not about to go on that high horse.
you
Let's
know,
stay on
you know,
planet
because
Earth.
you go back, go watch the episode on joy and fulfillment and contentment if y'all want more.
That's right.
So
Okay. So I feel like that brings us today to tonight's conversation because last week we released an episode on like 50-50 on relationships, on princess treatment, the role of a man as a provider. And really briefly, the internet show code last week was about Michael Porter Jr. having been on Justin LeBoy's LA Boy.
Yes, Justin LA Boys.
LA Boy.
Respectfully, Justin is the name of his
Respectfully,
show.
Justin. The respectfully was missing. It was missing my mouth. Yeah. So he was on his podcast and he's talking about being in a relationship with his now ex girlfriend and going half, like not paying the full rent. And Justin goes like, "Well, you have $200 million. Like, why wouldn't you pay it?" And he's like, "Well, yes, I approved of the place that she was staying. She said she could pay X amount, and I said I will cover the rest." They break up, and it goes into a topic of should he continue paying. He says he's committed to a year. However, he's giving it to her incrementally, and he's giving it to her month by month, depending on how she acts, right? So we had a whole conversation. Myself and Memmy talked about it. Kind of met somewhere in the middle. Actually, I felt like we met in the middle. But our listeners, I feel like our listeners really, they were like, a lot of them agreed and a lot didn't. So we're going to bring on one of our listeners who is going to provide perspective and keep it real about the thoughts that he has about this topic. So we're going to welcome our friend of the podcast, Fiati.
Oh, brother. How you doing?
You.
I can't hear you. Hold on, let me unmute you. I don't know if I can.
Not yet.
You hear me? My mic was muted. I'm sorry.
Yes, your mic was muted. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for having me.
Oh no,
yes,
thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you coming on. So we just gave a brief recap of the internet chokehold from last week. But before we get into that, can you just introduce yourself, a little bit about you? Who are you? Who is Fiati, and why are we bringing Fiati on our podcast?
Okay, so Fiati, I am the head clothier and creative behind the brand Fiati, which we're based here in Maryland. We make custom clothing for both men and women. We are a company that lives by the slogan "Inspired by Life," which is mainly because of my own experiences with trying to find different pieces in the fashion industry and having to be in a situation where I couldn't really find things that really reflected my personality, which really led to me creating the brand. Right now, we are also what do you call it? We also involved in shows like the DC Fashion Week, which we did last year, and we also in different magazines. So you can find us in the Girl magazine or Campus Rebel magazine. Also, I am a project engineer and a project manager, and currently that's what I do as well. And whilst I'm running the business full time.
Nice,
Hey, good
busy
job.
man. And are you single?
Yes.
Or are you dating? Or are you in a relationship?
I am single, not dating, not in a relationship.
Okay.
Okay, so you are our official single male correspondent. Because when we talk sometimes, they be like, nobody want to hear from y'all old married ladies. So we keep our ears to the street. So you one of our correspondents. So thank you for joining.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay. So Fiati, let's get into it. So what are your thoughts about the whole Michael Porter conversation and his decision to split the rent? What are your thoughts?
So I watched the episode, like you guys know already, and I was very intrigued by your perspective on it for sure. I think that there were a lot of things that both of you said that I agreed with. There is a little bit of abuse of power. I would agree with that. And I think Memi said that if you're gonna take care of me, just do it. Don't do it halfway, and you said don't dip your toe in it, something like that. You said,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. And we all know you love the princess treatment, so we are very much aware of that. But I do also agree with what you said when you said that if you can't afford the apartment, don't get something that you can't afford. So
Yeah.
work within your own budget and et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
And I was listening and I thought, okay, I agree with you, but I don't think, obviously you guys said that we don't know the full story, but from a male perspective, I was listening, I'm like, okay, even though there is some element of abuse of power, um, areas where I didn't agree with was, I think, and again, I don't know, but I think looking at it as a man, if I was in Michael Porter's situation and having experienced this myself, sometimes if you are in a position where you're financially stable, you're capable, you can do certain things. I think sometimes, and I'm not saying all women, sometimes if you're dating somebody, I don't want to call it test, but it's like, let me see if you'll be willing to help me do something that I cannot do. Right. So in this case, she picked the apartment. If you watch the interview, he liked the apartment, she picked it, but she knew she couldn't afford it. And he offered to give her half. And I remember of course, when you said that he should pay all of it if he's gonna take care of her. And I was just like, well, they've only been together for 6 months. He's not fully responsible for her. They're just dating. They're not married. I think we have to manage how we commit to relationships. She also has to manage her expectations. I think that there was a bit of a setup to see if he would do it and he conformed. And as a man, if I'm dating my girl or somebody that I like and they like something and I'm in a position where I could do it, but he can't do it, automatically I'm going to want to help them because you're in my life. That's what we do. Men, we try to provide and he offered to assist. But I do think that, um, he is not obligated to pay all of it. I think he helped her till they broke up. I think after that, he's not obligated to do the rest. Now, if the tables were
I mean, I
flipped,
feel like
But
a
but
year.
I think that's a stat. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to let you finish because we'll
no,
be way
you can
past
jump
here.
in. You can
But
jump in if you like. But I'm just saying that if the tables were flipped, I wouldn't expect her to do it. Right. And also, like
mm,
when you're growing up as a man, you're always told, be careful how you start with a woman because if you can't finish, don't start it. Right.
but
So,
he has $200 million, so he should be able to finish. But keep
but
going.
But
you're
I feel
looking
like
at,
that's the same thing we're doing that's the same thing that we're doing with Ayesha Curry. Like, oh, just because you have the money, that doesn't mean.
But this is, to me, this is financial. And when I think of these situations, again, I think of them as transactional, right? He's getting something from this girl is getting something from him. So that's all I want to say. Keep going though.
yeah, but you
I
said
don't want to.
he has $200 million.
Yes.
But Michael, honestly, if you look at the NBA contract, he doesn't have $200 million. That's a $200 million contract over a period of time, and he has people he has to pay, agents, everybody's involved. So he doesn't get
Correct.
$200 million. Even if he got 25% of that, he doesn't have to do it. That's his money. He worked for it. He earned that.
I agree. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. But you just so I think we are in agreement that she should have just gotten a regular apartment. And if he likes her, he wants to be with her, then he has to understand that that's where he has to come to visit her. Now, if he chooses to pick something else for her because he doesn't like to be in a regular apartment, then he's obligated to finish the payment for that because he decided to put her in that apartment.
But he
I
didn't.
agree. I
He just
agree.
said he liked the place that she
He,
picked.
That's if you listen well, if you listen well to what he said, read between the lines.
I mean, no, you're trying to make this fit. No,
because she likes princess
That's what it
treatment.
sounds like to
he
me.
said he liked the place she picked.
He said he showed him a place, and he was like, yeah, I like that, and she was like, yeah, but I can afford it. He was like, yeah, do the half, and I'll do the rest.
So how do we
So
know that?
that so
How do we know that she wasn't picking those places because she knew that he was in a place to be able to afford it?
very well could have been 100% could have been doing that.
Okay, so that's manipulative in itself, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Fiati, I like your perspective.
Ah,
Sorry, I like your perspective.
I wish I was next to you. This virtual is not going to work for me.
so yeah, you
Yeah,
know,
I'm sorry.
and I think that one thing I always say is if you don't manage your expectation in any situation that you're in any agreement, you're only gonna end up in trouble. So in this case, she didn't manage her expectation, neither did he, right?
Yeah, they
So
didn't.
both of them didn't manage their expectations in their relationship. And then here's the thing where, and I think him saying that I'm waiting, I think he's probably still hurt over the breakup. We don't know the nuances of why they broke up, whatever.
Mhm.
But
Right.
it's like,
Yeah.
well, this is how I'm gonna get back at her because I committed.
Yeah.
That's very true, which is not right in in a sense. But at
Yeah.
the same time, I think we got two people here who are um there's a bit of a power struggle. And also remember, she texted him for half of the rent. She didn't have to. If she doesn't want to see him anymore, she could be like, you know what, we're done. I'm not gonna ask him for the money. But she was still reaching out for the money,
Can't afford it.
you know?
You're gonna get evicted.
She didn't need the money. You're right. Peace out. She
You're gonna
Yeah,
get
needs the money.
evicted. Her best bet is to find the next one, but you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
That's what
And
it's for.
But it
also,
shouldn't be, and that's the thing, right? Also, I think like even going back to what you said, it shouldn't be transactional. Like just because I feel like just because we're dating, just because you're dating somebody who has an extreme amount of wealth, doesn't mean it should be viewed as transactional. Like
In our world, it shouldn't be. But when you get into those worlds, that is what it is. You give me a little piece of this, and I give you a little piece of that.
I mean, but I think that two
But
episodes of Marriage
we ain't.
Pinnacle ago, we were talking about marriage being a business agreement and really coming together. And I really love that episode because I was watching, I was just like, that's a very fantastic perspective because as a man, if I'm picking a partner, there has to be a few things a few elements that I have to consider because if I'm thinking long term, then I have to pick well,
Mhm.
not necessarily just because she fits a profile in terms of her physique, but more importantly, like is she good with finance? Like does she have a skill that will always give her a job? Like things like that. Because if you're thinking long term, you have to think in that regard, right? And he is in a situation where he's kind of already built so it's like we don't know if he even feels like she has anything to offer. So what is she really bringing to this business agreement or this partnership, right?
Yeah.
Besides an expensive apartment.
I don't know any like multimillionaire guys or any of these kind of things, but just from what we see and what we hear, they're typically not looking for that high powered lady to build with. Because like you
no,
said,
that's not true, Memmy.
I
I
don't like I said I don't know any, so I'm
don't.
going off of like
That's
what
the thing.
I see
I
on
feel like
TV, what
a
I read in
lot of
books, and all that
time.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, because I feel like that is the stereotype. Yes, I feel like the stereotype is that they're not looking. They're looking for somebody who just wants to be a trophy wife. But that's not always the case. There's a lot of these, and unfortunately, those are the ones we don't see. Those are the couples that we really don't see. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the ones who want their own, who want their business, whether it's a boutique or whatever, they still want their own and they don't want to just be the shadow of this
Right, right.
celebrity or this athlete or this whatever. I think the stereotype is like, oh yeah, she's quiet, she likes her bags, she likes her designers, and she doesn't do anything. But I don't think that's the norm. I think that's probably the small subset of what's
Yeah.
actually happening. Do you know what I
I
mean?
mean, I would hope so because I feel like in the case you're talking about, that's where you do get the Ayesha Currys because you are kind of just expected to be a trophy wife, but you want more. So it becomes, it becomes an issue because it's like
Mhm.
I need you to give me room to have more and do more and be more.
But you
So
know,
I would love that scenario. Sorry,
I think Aisha and Steph started a long time ago, so they knew each other, and
mm-hmm.
Steph was kind of building his career.
Mhm.
So we have to take that into account. A lot of these NBA players as well, they have publicists that, I believe probably encourage them to say, get a very good looking wife. It helps with your image, right? A girlfriend that is beautiful. It's
Yeah,
unfortunate because then you miss out on the things that really make love great, because you're just really dating
yeah,
somebody just for status versus really being with somebody for the things that a woman can bring to a relationship. And that goes out the window. And so now when the girl that you pick isn't able to provide those things that you're looking for in terms of being nurturing or whatever, then they get spiteful. They want to be abusive, finding ways to just abuse their power, which is not right. But I think that women too, like if you're just about your body and your physique, great. You may be able to get the man, but are you going to keep him? I mean, at some point he's going to wake up and say, "Look, this is not feasible. I can't keep." Nobody wants to constantly keep losing money in any
yeah.
situation, right? So you would marry the one that would.
Nobody likes liability.
Yeah, exactly. Liability, right? Nobody wants it. And so, you guys talk about how you've built your wealth through marriage, where you guys have come together and your husbands are leading your household, even though it's a combined income, and it doesn't feel like a liability because we have a system that works. But if I have
Mhm.
everything already and all you're really bringing to my life is just an image, well, beauty dies at some point. It fades, right? You get older, and I would want someone younger, you know?
And that is what happens. They get traded out. But I mean, that look, not I don't know. Like I said,
Yes.
we don't have a lot of people in our circle that have these problems. But Fiatu, we want to ask you, as a man dating, what how would you have approached the situation? I doubt a girl is going to be like, "Hey, Fiatu, can you pay half my rent?" But if it's something like that, like I'm having a hard time with my car note, how would you approach it? What would you have done?
I think if I'm dating somebody and they're struggling financially, automatically I'm going to feel responsible for their well-being. It's natural. I can't even shake that off if I try. As a man that wants to be able to be in a position where I can provide, right? And I call it practice. This is how you get some training before like the main game, right?
Mhm.
I would want to help her out if I'm dating somebody that is financially struggling. However, if you are struggling because you're making bad financial decisions, then there's a conversation that we have to have now. Now I have to make a decision if this is the situation that I want to be in, and myself included. And sometimes as men, we know it's not good for us. But like, oh, she's hot though, you
Ooh,
know,
she look good
and if you're intimate, like
Mhm.
she puts it down though. Right. And that's what
though.
gets us in trouble. So at some point when we are in a situation where we can no longer do it and we're just killing ourselves to do it, now we start building resentment. Like she's done something
Yeah,
to us when we didn't really make the decision that was more favorable for us.
yeah, that's real. That's
So
real.
how okay, so I'm hearing this now. Do you feel like this was Fiati of like 5 years ago? Like
Abs-
having this
uh,
amount of insight.
yeah, absolutely not. I probably 10 years ago didn't have this wisdom. I think I was very much interested in how I was perceived. In fact, that is something I still battle with today, where
Mm,
um, I think 5 years ago, I realized that if I want to be married, I have to go into the University of Marriage, where I need to learn what marriage is about. And I think that's something that we don't do. We don't learn how to date. We don't learn how to marry. We kind of like just go along. We're gonna figure it out, right? We're having problems.
mhm,
Let's talk it out. But as communication is communication, right? And a lot of times we think that because we talked about a problem, it ends there. And we don't get help if we need to. We don't do anything that we need. If we don't ask people who are already doing it. And I think for me, Fiatio 5 years ago didn't have this knowledge. But what I did was I started hanging around people that were doing things that I found to be inspiring, that was aspiring to do. For example, if because I wanted marriage, I was hanging around people who were married and I was asking them questions because I wanted to see it because growing up I didn't really see that. So I wanted to see what a good marriage looks like, what a bad marriage looks like, and what you do during the troubles. And I got a lot of advice throughout the process, right? So that gave me the education that I needed. And I'm still learning till today, right? Which is why I love your show, because you guys talk about your partnerships and things like that. And I'm like, okay, like that's a
mhm,
fantastic perspective because I'm like, okay, there's a lot to learn here. For my first episode, I was hooked, right? And so I think for me today, I have a different perspective when it comes to dating. I have a different perspective when it comes to choosing a partner. And now I've even taken it to another notch, which is now I am choosing a woman that is God led and godly centered, which is different from me.
mhm,
Whereas before it was just like, I have all these things that I want, but
mhm,
if I want her to believe in something, that's what I would
Yeah,
say,
mhm,
right? But it was
mhm.
never, you have to love God first
yeah,
Yeah,
and then everything else. And now that's changed. So it's made dating even very, very hard now for me anyway.
mhm.
How so? How so?
So
Is it harder to find God led women, or do you feel like you have to like cut through like the facade and know if it's real? Like, why do you say that?
I think as I have gone through my educational process of learning about marriage and things like that, I have come to learn things that work for me and what I would like to see in my partner. And so before it was an ocean. I mean, if I was picking based on how they looked, I was around, I'm in an industry where I'm around beautiful women, um, you know, so it was just like very simple to pick. And then when I decided to really focus on the things that were more important to me, and one of the things I did was I listed 10 things that were very important to me, and I picked my top six. And I was just like, if I can get a woman with four of those qualities, we can figure out the other two. So and then I realized that actually I'm looking for 40%, not even 60%, right?
Mm.
So
They,
that
they say
changed.
80. The number is 80/20.
Yes.
80/20, brother. Wow.
So
So that
you're
changed.
even making a lot of allowance.
Yeah, absolutely. Because sometimes we can be very rigid when it comes to picking a partner
Yeah.
because we are operating from a place of hurt and so
Hmm.
trauma. So we're like, well, and the brain is already designed that the brain is designed to protect you. So we get stuck there where we're like, I'm not doing this because especially when they talk like, well, this is what I experienced in the past. I don't want to experience it again. But one thing we even learn at church is, when your restaurant hurt, you find a different restaurant, right? Do you stop loving because you love hurt? Right. And dating, when you're dealing with humans, you can't predict what somebody does. It's impossible. You just can't. You have to kind of go along and figure it out. So I think from there, it went from being an ocean to a river to a lake to a puddle. Now is a teaspoon because now
A teaspoon is
it's a
crazy.
teaspoon because now I'm like, and it's not because I'm trying to be picky or anything, but it's like I really understand myself very well now and I have a
That's
good
good.
idea where how I want my future to be. So even though I'm flexible in terms of what I'm looking at when I listed the 10 things, I still want her to have, those four things so I know that we'll work. And I'm realizing that I'm just not a great fit for a lot of people.
But
But
that is self-awareness 101.
yeah,
I
knowing
love that
that,
for you. I
I
love that
think
for you.
knowing that allows you to not waste your time in certain
Yeah,
areas.
Yeah.
for
And
sure.
I feel like that sometimes can be very isolating and lonely, but I think it saves you a lot of trouble though.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. Yeah. Loneliness is something that I think I battled, but I realized I wasn't lonely. I was just in solitude because I was growing. So I didn't call it loneliness anymore.
Spitting. You spitting.
Um,
Come on, you eat it.
Exactly. That's
So,
good.
and I think as I have spent time with myself, I have really started to appreciate the quality time that I have because there's so much growth that I've had that I have learned to slow down and exercise patience, which is not something I really had. And because I was like, go, 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 I would uh, um, project those things on anybody that I was dating. It was like, I'm like, why don't you get it? Like, what's the problem, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I remember everybody used to be like, just pray about it, like you ask God. But one thing I realized was that I was always asking God, but I wasn't relying on God because I wasn't patient enough to wait. So I was just like,
Come on, fruit of the spirit. You gotta.
That is so common
yeah,
because we all do that.
hmm
Really,
hmm.
very
So I
common.
think for me now, I am a lot patient. I mean, a couple of months ago when Laura saw me at singles night, remember what you said to me? It took me
What
like
did
3 months before I actually said something to you. Because that was me in the season of patience where I was like, let me be in observation. That's something I really have learned just to be observant. Whereas before, if I like what I see, I'm good to go.
Yeah, yeah. So do you find yourself not approaching like you see a nice girl, she seems nice, she seems bubbly, let's say you're in church, so you know she's, around good people. Do you watch her first or do you like are you saying before you would have just been like, "Hey, how are you? My name is Fiati," but now you would take like time to like watch her closer or see,
Yeah,
ask about her.
yeah,
Is
absolutely.
that sort of the difference you're talking about?
Absolutely. I think we have to be an observer. I think sometimes being me, I'm very confident and very charismatic. So I'm not afraid to walk up to somebody. And because even my sister who brought me to the well always says, you just came and you know everybody. Right.
Sure
Um,
does.
but that used to get in the way because I knew I could. I just acted.
Gotcha.
I didn't wait.
Gotcha.
right? So now, I would maybe friendly vibes, if probably wait, observe a little bit, and I'm like, how are you? Like maybe like a couple of
Little
weeks
side
later,
hug.
just to
Side
see.
hug.
You said what?
I said a little
Side
side
hug.
hug.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then I also observe like how she interacts with in others at church as well, if that's the environment that we're in, because it's kind of like a college,
Yeah,
right? So I want to see how her interaction
yeah,
is and how people feel about her, and
yeah.
if she's good energy. And then, I'm still very patient. I just want to get to know you, see. And something I've learned is we don't build friendship when we're trying to date. I know I didn't. I remember I had a girl that was trying to get to know one say to me like, "Oh, we're not even friends." I'm like, "Girl, I got a lot of friends. I don't need to be friends with you. I'm trying to date you."
I'm trying to date you, girl.
I gotta get closer. No, but
Right.
that's so important though. Like, and I think anybody that has been married for X amount of years will tell you, having a friendship is the foundation. As the foundation is one of the number one keys to staying for longevity in marriage.
Yeah,
So the
yeah.
fact that you're approaching it that way is so good, so important.
And also, I just want to add that growing up, I did not see anybody get married in my life. So I didn't grow up with my parents either. So, like I didn't want that to be the reason why I kept repeating, certain things, right?
Yeah,
And I encourage everybody, like just because you didn't see it doesn't mean you can't learn.
doesn't
You
mean you
can
can't
learn.
learn.
You don't, if you want to
That's good.
be, when you graduate from medical school, or if you want to be a lawyer, whatever, they tell you go to networking events. You go to those events to meet people who are in the industry well experienced to learn from them, right? And in the hopes that
Exactly.
they might plug you somewhere, right? So if you want to be
Mm-hmm.
married, surround yourself with people who are doing it and learn from them, right?
Yeah,
So you
that's
can pick up those
Yeah,
skills.
yeah,
that's great.
yeah.
So, okay, so another question before we get into we have a letter that we want to read and get your perspective on. Uh, so why do you feel like in this day and age? So we have our thoughts, right? We have thoughts about why we feel like men, let's even talk about our own subset. Like, so this subset of the world where a lot of men are doing really, really well. They're doing well financially. So it's not a thing of like, I want to get stable and then, get married and have a wife and all of the things. Why do you think it's difficult now or harder? We don't see as many men kind of taking that step. They are, financially stable. They have good jobs. They have their houses, their careers, but they're still not getting married. Why do you think that is? And then what do you think it is maybe from the girl perspective? What do you think?
Yeah, I think there's a plethora of reasons. Some things I could think of. Some men are dealing with a lot of hurt, and they haven't been able to heal from that. And I say that because, a lot of times, like if you're trying to date and you don't have it, you're like, why are you trying to date? Get it together. Like, when you
Yeah.
meet a girl today, people want to know how much you're earning. You have to be in the six-figure margins, or nobody wants to talk to you. It's a real thing, right?
When you
And
say don't have it, you mean money. They don't have
money,
the
yeah,
money.
it's that is
Okay.
the one. It feels like that is the number one thing now, where it's the criteria. And also a lot of guys in, some groups that I'm in, and we have conversations about this, where they've gone to a place where they're like, I work so hard, they're afraid, they don't want to share, right? If I bring a woman in, and then they might take it away from me, or like now I'm responsible for someone that I don't want to be responsible for. And so they don't want to do that. And I think a lot of men as well, because of that hurt of disappointment, being told you're not good enough, now I've made it. And probably some guys never really had the, um, the experience of having women throw themselves at them. Now they're in a situation where it's happening, right?
Got you.
So it's
Like,
exciting.
I'm not trying to
Like,
get at it.
yeah,
Like
yeah. Even if,
ugly
yeah,
difference.
even and so that's one thing. And also the other thing I want to mention is, um, the men don't have good friends, because you're not putting yourself in a situation where somebody's telling them that, hey, there's actually more honor in having one person and just really being committed to them. And because it's easier to have multiple people. When you have options, I am not obligated to you. I'm not
You're
emotionally
not
committed
playing.
to it.
You don't have to
When
be
I'm not
honest.
happy, I'm gonna go here. When I'm not happy, I'm not gonna go here. But you don't grow that way because you don't learn to heal through conflict. and you haven't worked anything out, right? So you lack experience. And when they get married, usually they fail because when they're not happy, well, I'm going to go here. They can't stay consistent. They can't stay faithful because they haven't worked through that, right? They've always
Yeah.
dealt
They
with
don't have
rejection.
the skill set. They didn't build those muscles.
No, no, no. They never built never built those muscles, right? And also, rejection is very scary.
Mhm.
You know what I
And
mean?
I used to think that men were like amazing at rejection.
Oh no, we did.
Because when we were younger, like I don't know how what our age difference is, but when we were younger, like you go to the club, like that is men approach you all day and they get rejected all day, but it does not stop them from approaching girls. Like
Let me
that
tell you
is,
something.
but I feel like this day and age is so different.
That walk of shame is difficult when you take that walk of shame. Because especially when you're with your boys and you got to go back and report to base, and you're like, yo, sometimes you got to be
Report
like,
base.
yo,
Nah,
Man,
no go.
when I
No
you're
tell
go.
like,
you,
I pulled a
man,
number,
like
but
being a
damn well you
woman back
never
in
pulled a
the day.
number.
No, when I tell you that it used to be like nothing back in the day to just tell a man to please
Yes.
move to the
Please be
side,
moving to the
Yeah.
get
side.
away. Like it was like easy. But it's like but now again, I don't be outside collecting none of it. I'm not in those, that's not
Now
my
they cuss you
ministry no
out, baby.
more.
I hope not.
They cuss
But
you
now, I know, right? Don't let them hear you. But I'm like, I feel like I don't even know that happen now. Like, do guys when they go out or when they're do they still approach women? Because I mean, and we're talking about rejection, so that's what's making me ask. Like,
Yeah,
has that fear of rejection become worse?
I think that uh so I don't really go out anymore. But I tell you part of the reason I
Yeah.
don't go out is because it's a bombardment I'm not interested in. But then again, I get women hit on me. Actually, now a lot of women will hit on you as a man, right? And it happens a lot,
Really?
which is
Hi, times have changed.
oh yeah, oh it happens a lot. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, full transparency. There are times where I used to just go out just because I wanted a woman to hit on me, so I feel good and I come home. And it would happen a few times, so that I would dress up for that, right? But I not because I was
Yeah.
interested, but I wasn't. Even this weekend, we were doing small groups, and then these three girls in their car stopped me to take my number, and then my group member was like, "You're gonna call him?" Like, "Oh, absolutely not," but it was just nice, But it feels
Wow.
good to have that, and also,
Yeah,
Yes,
obviously,
you're so
it
vulnerable.
is.
I appreciate your vulnerability. Like that's
Yeah,
so rare. Like
it
a
is.
lot of guys that don't open up like this. I appreciate that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what happens when you come to the well, by the way. I know, but
You better plug it.
yeah, so but it happens, and it's very flattering. It's very enjoyable, whatever, and makes you feel great as a man, right? But you walk away, and sometimes it's just not what you want, right? But it happens where like men get hit on, but you also get rejected. I've seen friends get rejected. Some guys are very afraid. They want the scene to be perfect, where like we all just like conversing, and then that's like they may need me to throw them an alley oop, and then to go for the dunk. Whereas for me, I don't care. Like I just come out and introduce myself. I'm like, hey, you
Yeah.
know. But I've always
Yeah.
been like that. But I get that from my dad. So fortunately,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good. Lara, sorry, I don't even know if he answered your question because I kind of sidetracked it.
No, he did. I mean,
But I
in
feel
a
like he
nutshell,
did.
yeah, he did. Because I feel like at the end of the day, what I'm hearing is that there's rejection. He talked about trauma. He talked about some of the different factors that impact why it makes it hard for
Fear of losing
fear
their
of
like
losing. Yeah,
what they've worked hard for, which I think is
which it is a big one, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and there is but the thing is, like, when you're doing it the quote unquote right way and you're marrying, that is a responsibility you have. It is a burden you take on. It's a good burden, but it's something you do take on. It's a responsibility you take on, and not doing that with the right person, yeah,
No,
you know,
honestly, a lot of guys, including myself, where you've been in a situation where you really gave and gave and gave, and it didn't amount to anything. It's just disappointment, and you felt used. You don't want to do it again, right?
yeah,
You don't want to do it again.
yeah,
And I know a lot of men are going through that, like eligible bachelors, like they should be with somebody, but they're like absolutely not. But I think also part of the reason why marriage is difficult because there are women that have made it difficult for the right women. Um,
Men that made it difficult
no,
for the right.
women have made it
uh oh,
difficult.
You better shake the
for
tables,
the right
mommy.
women.
Be very careful how you respond to this one because
And
mommy said, "Man, you talking about? Please
Ah,
explain."
I was genuinely trying to understand. I thought he misspoke. Oh yeah, please tell me more.
you know, and I think
Please.
vice versa. There are men who have made it difficult for good men to find good
I
women as
get it.
well.
Okay. I was thinking something totally different, but now I get it. You mean like
Mhm.
someone that has like men and women that have caused hurt that have now these that now the other party is now carrying in the future. That's what we're saying.
That's part of it.
Okay.
And then there are because so I mean you're not in the scene. There are women that today that just want to be taken care of. Like the relationship is strictly
Mhm.
transactional, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, I've met well qualified women with careers that are dating married men, and I didn't understand that because I'm like, you're not hungry. You got a good job. You're well
Yeah.
educated. What are you missing? But the provision is very exciting. It doesn't have to be the money. So the guy's like, well, she only requires this of me. So it doesn't cost me anything. It allows me to step out of my relationship. Right. So those type of women are making it difficult for other women because it's so easy. They're just giving it out for chicken change. Like the values that went into marriage, the values that went into dating, the courtship is gone. It's very simple. You offer something as simple as monetary. Like it's very simple because we all earn money. It comes and goes, right? Just some earn a
Mhm.
little bit more than the other, and who's willing to sacrifice the most, right? And the other day I told to one guy, I said, I actually told one girl, I said, you know, he's able to do this because his wife is also bringing income. So that extra income is what he's giving you, which is very silly for
Right.
him because I'm like, if you took that and made a bit more investment with that kind of money, you could have built a little more for yourself versus
Yeah.
just, being that situation. So there's that. And there's also when you go to clubs and a lot of these establishments today, it's easy to just get a girl to sleep with. You don't need to go to a strip bar. You don't need to go to the street anymore. You just got to go to these establishments and do it. And some men, if it's that simple, why would I want to take on the burden of dealing with her emotions, the arguments, the blah, blah, blah,
Mhm.
like everything that goes into it? Nobody wants that responsibility, right? And so that's part of the reason some of these guys are not stepping up to marriage, right? And then of course the trauma, and then there are guys out there that are just really just making it difficult for other men because they are dating good girls and hurting them.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And so they are doing this, and it's like if you meet her, she's all like closed off. The wall is so high, you can't even never break it down. Everything you do is just very suspect, whatever. It makes it very difficult to date, right? And then, of course, there are women who are also making men that are good,
Yeah.
So it's
It's
unfortunate.
like it's like it's like all these like villain origin stories
Yeah,
being
yeah, yeah.
being
Yeah,
created, and then we're just
exactly.
going out to create more villains, and then more villains, and then it's just a nasty
Yeah.
cycle.
I think
Mhm.
women have to hold women accountable and men have to hold men accountable.
I
Yeah,
agree with
agree
that.
with that.
I agree
Yeah,
with
it
that.
shouldn't be
So
because every time we're like this with the opposite sex, I think we have to be like this with each other. Like
talk to
you
each
have to
other.
stop.
Yeah.
That's
I,
good.
I I feel like that's the best way, but I feel like so often you get the echo chambers, you get like all the women haters get together and bounce off each other, then all the men haters get together and then bounce off each other. So it's like there's no it has to be intentional. And I feel like what you're saying is like a very good example to intentionally breaking that cycle and taking yourself out of that villain origination cycle, because
Yeah,
you do like I love what you said about like sitting back and being patient and getting to know yourself, understanding your 10, whittling it down
Yeah.
to what's realistic, looking around you like, okay, I said I want this, but I ain't seen this in how long? So maybe that is not as realistic for me. Or I'm finding out that now I don't really want that for myself anymore. So I think some of the things you said were just extremely powerful and just so important. And I feel like that is the message that we need to be putting out there for our
Mhm.
our young singles. And yeah, like it don't have to be like this outside. It don't got
yeah,
to be like that.
Yeah.
yeah. I
It
agree.
is this way because that is what that is what we're perpetuating over and over and over.
Yeah,
So I love what you said. Thank you so much.
absolutely. And say no. My dad used to say, if you don't learn to say no in life, you'll never be successful.
That's good.
Say
Yeah.
no.
I
You don't
know.
gotta say yes to every date. You don't gotta go to dinner every night.
No, yeah, be selective. Like put a nice tag,
Doggone not that
price tag
good.
on
That's what you
yourself.
say?
Like don't make yourself so accessible because it's free food.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know?
That
You
was that
didn't
was that was
believe me when I
that was
said
news
people
to
be out
me.
there for free food.
That was news to me, honey. That was news to
Oh
me.
yeah, don't save
People
your
be out.
name like Fiati dash free food. You call that's free meal. You know what I mean? But here's the other thing I
Wow.
also want to add is before we get off this topic is when you're dating, right? So like even though I'm saying this, if somebody shows interest, don't make it seem like they have to part open the sea, make sure the ground is dry and
Mm-hmm.
move mountains. They're not Moses. Like all they're trying to ask you to do is, all I'm asking is, hey, just get to know me. I'm not asking you to be my girlfriend. I'm not asking you to sleep with me. I'm not asking you to marry
Yeah.
me. Just get to know me. And if it's a no, everybody goes with it. But sometimes when we meet women, right, they act like they have to make it so rigid and difficult. And as a man that has option, I'm like, you know what? You're not interested. I'm just gonna move on, right? And I think that's another thing that we have to talk about. Like they make it so, and then they're like, oh, there are no men. Yes, there are. I approached you last week, but you just
Do
wasn't talking to me. I've been in a situation where I was very interested in a young lady at church, and she was just not. I called her and was just like dry. And I said, are you gonna even speak to me? Because I don't understand what's going on.
And so, what do you think she wanted? Like, she wanted to be pursued. She wanted to be chased. Is that what you're saying?
So
Like,
I know we have talked about pursue a
mm,
couple episodes before, but what I will say is we have to define what pursue means when it
mm,
comes to a man pursuing a woman. And I think a lot of girls need to understand what that means for them. Because I think
mm,
sometimes they think if I make it difficult and then he goes through all these things, all these hoops, then it means he
right,
likes me. Look, I'm tired.
right,
You know,
right.
I am dating tired. I don't like dating
Burned
apps.
out.
I'm burnt out. Don't make it different.
Yeah.
You're equally as tired as I am. Let's just get to know each other. That's all I'm asking.
make
And
it
and we and
easy.
we and we really wanted our single female
Female
correspondent on
on
here,
here. She
so
doesn't.
y'all can have a conversation because, like, again, I'm very old school, right? Like I the last time I went on a date that wasn't my husband was what, 2006, 2007.
I mean, you
So
married your high
so
school sweetheart.
Might as well have
essentially,
been.
essentially, so dating for me looks so different. So when I hear stuff like that, it's like what, I can't wrap my mind around it because
Yeah.
what we were taught was that you want a man that likes you more, you want a man that wants you more. So that's why you have him call you. He's the one that
You
should call you.
shakara. You do a
you
little
do
bit
your
of.
you do your big girl, but also, again, I was dating at 22, 23, 20, younger than that. Dang.
It's still
Yeah,
going on. It's still going on. And I think that some like
So what do you
it's
suggest? Like, what would be your suggestion? Because I feel like when you say don't make it difficult, I feel like the girlies is gonna be like, "What you mean?" So like, explain like what does that look like? Like
um
not sending you the voice note, not leaving you on red. Like, what does that
yeah,
mean?
like that stuff does not in today's dating world. And I think that applies to even 2006 because um
Mhm.
being like that does not tell me that you like me. Right.
Right,
If
right,
you're interested in a man, believe me, there's other women that are interested too. And if he
mhm,
puts himself together, he has a good career, he dresses well, speaks
mhm,
well, educated, all those things, there are plethora of women that want the same thing as well. So if he's
yeah,
choosing you, don't make it any difficult than it needs to be. Now, I'm not saying go out and give it out for free or easy. What I'm saying is
yeah,
just get to know him. That's all you have to do. Just give him the time of the
right,
day. Act like you're interested if you are. Pick up his calls, prioritize him so he feels like, oh, this girl is giving me the attention that I need. I do not need to give it to anybody else because I am interested in her. Right. But I think sometimes, and I speak from experience, where you're showing interest, you're calling, and it's like you call and it's like, oh, I only have 5 minutes, or I'm busy, or this. I'm like, I get it, I'm busy too, but I'm
Mhm.
taking time out. Or like, hey, can I see you? I don't know. Well, let me check with Cindy, whose cousin is Mike,
Okay. Oh,
and
that's
their
so
mom
annoying.
is doing a
Okay. Oh,
party. You know what I mean? And you're
that's
like,
irritating. Okay.
yeah, yeah, or like
Okay.
you make,
I really needed that example. Thank you very much. Because that would irritate the
yeah.
heck out of me as well. If I was a
Absolutely, and it's
guy.
like
Yeah.
they are acting like they're the only ones with friends, so sometimes I'm like, are you dating, or you're just in dating your friends? Because I'm not following, right? You're saying they're nomad. I am
Your friends with
saying make
you.
time, but you're telling me a million things that you have to do with your friends. If I'm interested in a woman and she is open to seeing me today, I love hanging out with my boys, but I promise you, I'm canceling.
Peace out.
I'm
Gotta
canceling
go.
because
Gotta go.
at the end of the day, I'm not gonna marry them. And if I'm gonna build my legacy and I find I'm seeing a woman that is potential, my boys can wait. We'll do it another time. These are my people. I've been
Yeah.
with them from day one. I'm going to
Mhm.
prioritize the person that's coming into my life now. And
Yeah.
also, you start if you set those boundaries, then your friends will start to respect it. So when you're dating, they know that okay, like Fiati's priority. When he calls, she goes, vice versa. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Yeah.
we have to get into the habit of for me, if you're not prioritizing me, I'm not interested.
I,
And
and, and to be honest, I personally, like, again, I think I'm a very neutral party where I don't feel like it's all girls or all guys. Memi may not agree with that. She thinks it's always all girls, and I don't.
Girls, girl.
She's a girl's girl, and
Okay.
I'm a girl.
because you like soft life.
Period.
I believe I do believe people sometimes miss out on good things because of that, because they feel like they have to do the hoops and ladders instead of just saying, here I am, I'm available, and I'm want to get to know you. I feel like sometimes it's too much work. Granted, I've also been out of the dating scene for a pretty long time as well, so there's not a lot I can really say in how things are.
And please don't talk too much before they start telling you what
And
y'all
that's
had to go through.
and low key, Tala had it very easy. Let's be clear.
That's why you're
Tala had it pretty
married.
easy.
That's why you're married. I'm telling you,
Tala had
that's
it
why you're
pretty easy.
married.
You know what I mean? Like,
No one likes stress.
it's no stress, and I feel like that is actually even what made it easy for him, because there's no stress. Like, I
Lauren,
get
another
it, the
episode we have to
pursuit.
tell our origin stories again.
Yeah, like, I get the pursuit, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think a girl wants to be wanted. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like a guy wants to be wanted as well. But I do believe a lot of times things could go a lot smoother if people would just stop doing all of the shakara.
The
And
game.
for our listeners who don't know what shakara is, it's just when you feel like you gotta do the
Yeah.
most to let him know or let her know that you like that he likes you or she likes you. You feel like
Yeah.
you gotta do a lot, and sometimes it's just not needed. Like,
No, no, absolutely not.
I'm never telling a girl. Me and Mimi agree. We never telling the girl to go propose to the guy. It ain't gonna happen. Not on our
And
watch. But
we're not we do not agree with women paying on the first date or going half on the first date. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think a girl should propose, and I
That's when we
don't
draw the
think
line.
a woman, sorry, a woman should pay on the first date. I think maybe
Okay, good.
date 5, 6, and she wants to just pretend
We
you're
agree.
reaching for your wallet, so I can be like, stop.
pretend.
You know what I
It's
mean?
like,
Maybe you could do shakara.
Yeah,
Like,
just be like,
pretend.
you know what I mean? Like, just
that's where the
pretend.
chakra comes in.
That's where the
Yeah,
shakara
yeah,
comes in.
yeah. But if you
But
come every
like,
day, you sit down, you're like this. I'm like, wait, because here's the
And
thing,
it's like,
right?
oh my god, I didn't bring my wallet.
Yeah, as much as you want to date a generous person, we also want to date a woman that's kind and thoughtful,
Yeah. I
indeed,
mean,
I agree.
valid. Valid.
you know?
I don't see nothing
So,
wrong with that.
and I don't mind doing it, but like if I feel like, yo, like you look at me and like, you've been paying 6 dates in now. Let me do it. It's my treat. Like, thank you for always,
Hmm.
wanting to take care of me. That's beautiful. Like for me, I would leave like, okay, okay. I promise you now I'm coming with bouquets. Just because you did that.
Period.
And sometimes, right, like women don't realize it's the little things. Like if you do those little things, right? I mean, he has to be a matured man to really recognize those things for sure. But if you do those things as a man, if I see that, I'm like, all right, I want to give her everything because this woman is selfless. Like she's thoughtful.
Mhm.
She saw the
Yeah.
situation and is like, no, absolutely not. Like I like you too. Like it's both of us going out. For me, you want your gas pump, don't do it. Every week show up, I'll pump it up. Like
That's
it's the little
right.
Yeah, pump
things.
that gas.
Fiati, you
Pump
gotta
that
come
gas.
back because I have more questions for my single male correspondent. I
Yeah,
have more
you
questions
gonna be back.
because
You gonna be back. You
my
gonna be
next
back.
question, and we can put a pin in it right here, is that so what do you say, because we talked about trauma, right, and how trauma informs how people behave. What would you say to the woman that has done that in the past, been selfless, done all that, put herself on the line, and then like attracts a narcissist or attracts abusers or attracts men that take advantage of them, XYZ? So I feel like it's the same, the same as we talk about how males' trauma kind of informs their future. I feel like the same with women. So it goes back to like the healing and all that stuff, I know. But yeah, just interested to know your thoughts. But I know we're out
Um,
of time.
yeah.
You can go ahead.
I think that if you keep attracting people of those characteristics, stop.
Mm-hmm.
You have to stop. There's a
Mm-hmm.
common denominator, and that's you. If you're attracting it, you're the problem. It's very easy for us to look at the people we're attracting and saying, well, I'm great. They're the problem. Because now
Yeah.
you have to really self-reflect and look within. Why am I bringing this type of energy to myself? I know I did. I had to. I'm like, I was attracting a certain caliber of woman that I knew I couldn't marry, but I kept doing it over and over. I couldn't understand why. So I had to stop. Solitude is
Yeah.
okay. Reflect, right? If you're a Christian, really hone in the scriptures and pray. If you're not, seek a counselor. It's very important that you dive in to really understand what you're doing to attract such people that you know deep down you don't want, and really write down what's important to you, right? And also, please make good friends. Your day ones aren't always your best
Unity.
friends. If you're hanging out with your day ones and none of them are married, there's a problem.
Yeah.
Change your circle. I know I had to. Right. And minimize your time with them is very important because if you don't, I'm telling you, if none of you are, if you meet people that are not married and there's five people, you will be number six. And every time you have the right person, they're not going to encourage you when you're in pursuit of you or you're in pursuit of them, because when things go left, girl, please leave that dude alone. Blah blah blah. That's why Johnny did. Da, 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 da. Why? Because they don't know any better.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to surround yourself with the right people. And if it keeps happening, stop dating, stop, reflect.
Fiati, clap for yourself.
Our male single correspondent.
Clap for yourself. Very, very happy to have you, my brother.
Thank you. I
Thank
appreciate
you
it.
so
Thank you
much.
for having me as well. I really enjoyed it. I've been bugging Lara for a long time. She knows.
Oh, have you?
But it's okay. It had to be the right time, and that was the right time.
Yeah.
It
It
was the
worked
right time.
out.
Thank
God
you.
bless.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So this has been technically our first Chats Unmuted, and here we are. So if you have any comments, we're going to link all of Fiati's info below. He is single. He did say that.
Don't blow up the
And
DMs, y'all. Take your time.
take your
Like he
time.
said, observe,
Observe.
get to know him. Don't just dive in the DMs. Please respect yourselves still. Yeah? All right.
I
But
appreciate it.
we thank you guys. Chime in. What are your thoughts about what Fiati said, what I said, what Memi said? We want to hear it. Yes, and stay tuned. We got a episode of Chats One Peak next week, but then after that, we back with another Chats Unmuted. So thanks for tuning in, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.